Hello everyone. In the last video, we have seen the poetry Amanda and the explanation part. We dealt with it. So today we are going to um, study the question answers of this poem. But before we start the question answer, just let's revise the poem Amanda. So basically, this poem is written by Robin Klein, and she has expressed the views of a little girl named Amanda who is constantly pointed out by her mother for making mistakes. The mother constantly instructed about do's and don'ts by her nagging, right? And she is told not to hunch her shoulders and to sit up straight. She is told to finish her homework and tidy her room. She is forbidden from eating a chocolate that she has because it causes acne. But all the time, that little girl Amanda keeps dreaming of a life of freedom in the open. She dreams of mermaid in the seas, of roaming barefoot in the dusty street, being an orphan, and of the golden-haired Rapunzel who lived alone in a high tower. She takes no note of what is being said to her. Then she is rebuked for being moody and sulking all the time. Okay, so this is what the summary of the poem Amanda. So let's see the question answer. I have listed down some of the question answer which I find it is important. In the exam of NCERT board, you will get 2 marks question answer. In that, you have to write 5 to 6 sentences, right? And apart from these short question answers, you will get this stanza, and from this stanza you have to write, there would be MCQ and 2 marks of figure of speech, that is also of the MCQs question series, right? So totally 4 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, total 12 marks question answer would be there from the poem series. Okay, let's see this question answer. First question is that what picture of Amanda do you form from the poem Amanda? So basically this question is asking us the character, the picture of Amanda. What do you think about Amanda? Who is she? So she is a little school going girl, as we have seen that mother is telling her that haven't you finished your homework, Amanda? So she is inquiring about her homework. So that clearly means that she is the school going little girl, and she is constantly nagged by her parent, and it is probably the mother. So she was constantly scolded by the mother, and she keeps asking Amanda to do this and to or not to do that. But poor Amanda longs to be free and live life in her own way. So this is what her thinking. What is Amanda asked to do or not to do? Okay, so all the nagging that mother has, the mother is giving to Amanda. That is what the question. That is what we have to write here. So Amanda is asked not to bite her nails, not to hunch her shoulders and sit properly, and not to eat chocolates. She is asked to sit up straight, to finish her homework, to tidy her room, to clean her shoes, right? In fact, she is constantly asked to do this or not to do that. What does Amanda long to do at the sea? So Amanda wants to be the sole inhabitant of the sea. And who is the sole inhabitant? It is, she wanted to be as free as the mermaid, and she wanted to become that mermaid, right? So that she could drift joyfully with the gentle waves of sea, and she could swim wherever she would like to Sweet. Is Amanda an orphan? Why does she say that? Is Amanda an orphan? No. Obviously, the Amanda is not an orphan because there is someone who is constantly pointing out at her mistakes, and that is even her mother. So that clearly depicts that Amanda is not an orphan, but she feels it would be better to have been an orphan. Then if she was an orphan, what would happen? She could roam about freely in the street, leaving patterns of her bare feet in the soft dust. Right, so that's what she wanted to do, being an orphan. What could Amanda do if she were a mermaid? So Amanda could then be the inhabitant of the sea. She could drift joyfully with the gentle waves of the sea. There would have been no one to nag her all the time. She could then move about freely where she liked. So she wanted to become the mermaid because the mermaid is the sole inhabitant of the sea, and there is no one to who will nag at her, who will watch her, who will keep watch at her, right? So in that condition, she could, if she would be the mermaid, what will happen? She could drift joyfully with the gentle waves of the sea, and she could go wherever she likes. She is free to swim wherever she likes, and there is no one who will disturb her. Do you know the story of Rapunzel? Write briefly. So this is the fairy tale is given here. You will find it in the Google as well. Rapunzel was a beautiful golden haired girl, and her hair was too long, very long, and a witch is there, and she had put her in a tower, and a prince saw her and fell in love with her. Rapunzel let her hair down from the window, and the prince climbed up with them, and the witch was very angry at this, and she left Rapunzel alone in the desert. The prince at last found her and married her. So this is what the story of Rapunzel. She was the beautiful golden haired girl, and she has very long beautiful hair, and the witch was there who kept her in the tower, and the prince saw her and he fell in love with her, and he climbed up from the hair which Rapunzel let down from the window, and the witch didn't like it, and so she became very angry. She became ferocious, and so she has uh, left Rapunzel alone in the desert. But finally, somehow, the prince was able to find her, and he even married the girl Rapunzel. Next question: why does Amanda want to be Rapunzel? So as we talked, as we have seen the story, that Rapunzel was kept alone in a tower. Now there is no one, and there is no one, right? And here, what happens with the Amanda, that she was constantly nagged by her mother, and she wants loneliness, she wants peacefulness. So that is the reason that if she would become the Rapunzel, no one would be there to nag at her, no one would be there to look after her, no one would be there who will keep watch on her. So she thinks that the Rapunzel life must have been very peaceful and wonderful. That is the reason that she wanted to become the Rapunzel. What does Amanda yearn for? What does the poem tell you about her? So as we have seen in the introduction, that she wants the freedom. Amanda wants for a freedom. Yearn, that means a strong desire. So Amanda yearns for a life of freedom. She is fed up with the constant nagging of her parents. She wishes that she had been an orphan, which shows that there had been no one to nag her. Okay, if she would become if she is an orphan, the orphan doesn't has any kind of guardian or parent to look who will watch to him or her. So that is the reason that she doesn't want anyone to look after her. She doesn't want anyone who would take care of her. So that's the reason that she wanted to become an orphan. So being an orphan, she was free to roam wherever she liked. She was free to play whenever she liked. Right? So that's the reason. Okay, apart from these, textual questions are there. Majorly, we have covered all the queries of this poem, but the same questions would be there in a different twisted manner. You can go for the same things. How old do you think Amanda is? How do you know this? Okay, this question was completely twisted here. Amanda is a little school going girl, which we can see there is the nagging of her mother that haven't you finished your homework, Amanda? So that tells us that she is the school going girl. Okay, it's because the parent asked for her to finish her homework, so that's it is. Who do you think is speaking to her? Definitely the mother is speaking to her, right? Because the mother is the only one who lives at who lives at home 24 hours, most probably in our patriarchal world, where the father go for the work and the mother is the only one who lives at the house. And in the house she is the only one. And even in our society, mother is the responsible one to take care of the child, who will brought up the child, right, in a better manner. So it is her responsibility, and definitely she is the one here in the case of Amanda as well. Why are stanzas second, 4 and 6 given in parentheses? Okay, second, 4 and 6 are given in the parentheses. Remember the bracket when I explained this poem. So in the bracket portion, Amanda's thoughts are given. So that is what the parenthesis. Right, so this stanza depicts the state of the girl's mind. It is her thinking, Amanda's thinking. So it states the Amanda's thought. It states the Amanda's mind, who is constantly nagged by her parents. Who is the speaker in the stanza second, 4 and 6? So basically it is the Amanda's thought. So that means she is the only one who is speaking. And do you think the speaker is listening to the speaker in stanza 1, 3, 5 and 7? No, I don't think so, and we can't say so, because she is lost in her own dreams, in her own thoughts. Why she would listen to the nagging of the mother? Right, so she is not listening to her mother, which is who is the speaker in the first, third, fifth and seventh stanza. Okay, what could do if she were a mermaid? If she were a mermaid, then what will she do? She will just drift with the gentle waves of this sea. So and she will roam, she will freely swim in that sea. Is Amanda an orphan? Why does she say so? No, Amanda is not an orphan, because there is a mother who is constantly nagging at her. Right, so she is not an orphan, but she simply imagine herself as an orphan, because if she would be an orphan, then what would happen? There would be no one who would nag at her. So that is the reason that she wanted to become an orphan. And being an orphan, she was free to roam wherever she likes. She was free to play wherever she likes, whenever she likes. So that's the reason she wanted to become an orphan. Do you know the story of Rapunzel? Why does Amanda wanted to be the Rapunzel? So we have seen the story of the Rapunzel. She is the golden haired girl, right, who was kept in the tower by the witch. And why does Amanda wanted to be the Rapunzel? Because this Rapunzel was kept alone in the tower, so no one would be there to take care of Rapunzel. Okay, so she was alone. No one would be there who will keep watch on Rapunzel. She was totally alone. And here what happened in the Amanda's case, she was constantly watched by her parent. And she wanted freedom. She wanted alone. She wanted to be alone. She wanted solitude. So no one would dare to be watch her, no one would dare to tell her to do this or to do that. Okay, so that's the reason that she wanted to become the Rapunzel. What does the girl yearn for? What does this poem tell you about Amanda? The girl yearns for a life of freedom. The poem tells us that she is an imaginative girl who is constantly nagged by her unimaginative parent. Definitely she is the one who is imaginative girl, because she thinks of being a mermaid in a vast emerald sea, right? And she wanted to become an orphan so that she could roam on the dust street barefooted. She also wanted to become the Rapunzel who is kept alone in the tower. So this tell us that she is the imaginative girl, and where her parents are totally unimaginative. They live in reality, and that's the reason that the mother used to scold her. The mother used to pointed her that you should do that, you should do this, you should not do that, you should not do this. Okay, the last question, read the last stanza, that is the last part. Do you think Amanda is sulking and is moody? Of course not. Amanda is neither sulking nor is she moody. She simply longed for her freedom, and in order to do so, what she does, she went into her thought, her imaginative world, and she wanted to go out and play with where she likes. So she is not listening to her parents, so she is not moody at all. Okay, figure of speech. So in these two, first and second stanza, you will find anaphora. Now anaphora is the repeated use of the word, right? Look at this. Don't is there. Amanda is there. Amanda is constantly used every now and then. So these words are use of anaphora. Assonance, use of vowel sounds more than twice. So O sound is that don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Don't hunch shoulders, right? So it is the use of assonance. Next is rhyme scheme. Now this is the first and this is the second stanza. It is given all together. It is what called panthesis. It is different from this first stanza, but still it is connected with it. Okay. So here you can see rhyme scheme is AA, BA, CCC. Let's see how it is. Last word is given here. So Amanda, Amanda, Amanda. So the same use is there. So we will put the same alphabet. Amanda, Amanda, Amanda. A. Now look at the second stanza. C is there. Me is there. Now it is different from Amanda, so we will put the different alphabet, that is B here. Blissfully. Now it is completely okay. Sorry. This is, I have missed one line, that is straight. Sorry. So Amanda, Amanda and Amanda. We will put A and A here. So now one line is different, that is straight, so we will put B there. So A, B, A. Now look at the last stanza. See me blissfully. E sound is there. See me blissfully. Fully. E. Right? So all the sounds are same, so we will put the next letter, that is C, because it is not given in the above. So the basically rhyme scheme is A, B, A, C, C, C. Right. Next, the use of metaphor. I'm so sorry. The use of metaphor is there. Emerald sea. Emerald is the green color. Emerald sea for green color of sea being similar to the color of emerald. As I told you in the explanation part, emerald is a gem. It has a green color, right? Now see the color of the sea, of course it is a green sea, but it is compared directly with emerald. Now there is the difference between metaphor and simile. In simile we will see the likeness of something. Two things are compared and it has the likeness, a similarity. But here if we directly say that it is the same thing, it is the second object, then it is the use of metaphor. We directly say that it is not the as green as emerald, the sea is the emerald, that means it is the metaphor. Instead of emerald, say if it is written like that, that the sea is as green as emerald, or the sea is the color of the sea is like the color of the sea is like emerald, then it is the use of simile. But here it is the use of metaphor. The direct comparison is given here, emerald. Okay, next is repetition, use of word Amanda. Amanda is being repeated, right? Next is imaginary, drifting blissfully. Okay, in the second stanza you can say that drifting blissfully. So she is imagining, we can see the picture of a mermaid who is drifting very blissfully. It touches our eyes, we can see it, we can sense it. So it is the use of imagery. Second thing is alliteration is there. Look at this line, stop slouching, sit up straight, s sound, s sound is there. Stop slouching, sit straight, s sound is repeating, right? So it is the alliteration at the beginning of the word, right? If it is not at the beginning, it might be in the middle or at the end somewhere else, then it is the consonants. Allusion is also given here. Look at this word mermaid, it is a well-known imaginary creature, so that is the reason it is allusion. Next is anaphora. In the second stanza you can see anaphora again. Amanda is there, then did you is there, right? So it is the anaphora. Repetition also you can say that Amanda is there, so it is also the repetition. Rhyme scheme here is bit different from the earlier one. Look at this, Amanda, Amanda, Amanda. So A, second line A, fourth A, the last is different, so it is B, third line is different. Next look at this, street, feet and sweet. All the rhyme scheme is the street, feet, sweet. Rhyme scheme is the same, so A, B, A. So it is C, C, C. Here you will find the different rhyme scheme because it is given from the state point of view. It is continuously given here. Otherwise, if single this stanza is given here, then it is the same rhyme scheme, that is A, B, A, C, 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 right? Next is assonance. So use of vowel sound O is that thought, told. Look at the third line, you will find it, thought, told, you, your, shoes. So use O sound is there. Next is repetition, again Amanda, did you. So these are the repetitive word. Metaphor is used here again. Look at this word, silence is golden, silence is golden. So we have directly told silence as a golden. So silence is not the golden, but silence is said to be glorious like golden color. So golden is very glorious color. So silence is golden. So it is direct comparison of silence with the golden color. So it is the use of metaphor. Next is freedom is sweet. Again, freedom is directly compared with the sweet taste, right? So it is the use of metaphor. The next stanza, allusion is given here, Rapunzel, she wanted to become the Rapunzel, right? So Rapunzel, again a famous fairy tale character. Mermaid is a famous character. Rapunzel is a famous character. It is the use of allusion. Rhyme scheme, it is the same thing. The whole poem is the rhymes. Here you can see the whole poem rhyme scheme, so that is the reason. Otherwise it is the same. A B A C C C. Okay, next is assonance. Now assonance is given here. Use of vowel sound repeating. Look at this line. E sound and O sound. Will you please look at me when I'm speaking? So E sound is there. Now O sound in the same line. You look, you too, right? So this is the O sound and E sound. Next is consonants. Use of sound R consonant. For example, I am a Rapunzel. R sound. I have not cared. R sound is there, right? Then look at this. Bright hair. R is there. Bright R hair. R is there. So it is the use of R sound. Then repetition is there. Amanda is repeating more than twice. In the next stanza you can see the alliteration. Stop sulking. S sound is there. Repetition, use of word Amanda is there, and again the rhyme scheme is the same. Hope you like the poem. Thank you very much.